Okay guys, you can see the dogs here with us again for this video. What I'd like to talk to you about here for a few minutes is this AR-15 upper receiver that I've been running for a few months. This is from Spike's Tactical. They collaborated with a company by the name of Adams Arms to produce a dedicated gas piston upper receiver, which is what we're looking at here today. This is really awkward trying to film this thing while I'm behind the camera, since I can't really get my arms out long enough to get the whole thing in the frame. So we'll go over it part by part here. The first obvious thing here is the piston system. So let's go into that. This is the piston assembly gas block here. You can see it looks quite a bit different than a standard direct impingement gas block. Disassembly is pretty easy. Turn this out, and first piece to come out here is the gas plug. So this is where the gas diverted from the fired round goes through a series of chambers in here to drive the piston. This is the actual piston assembly. So this is the rod that goes back into the receiver and actuates the bolt carrier. Speaking of the bolt carrier, we'll go ahead and go to that. Now the piston assembly and the bolt carrier group are produced by Adams Arms. You can see here this is an integral striker plate rather than the standard gas key that you would see on a DI gun. So just put this up or down, give you an idea how this works. When the gas comes back and hits on that piston, it comes through the receiver, strikes that plate, pushing the bolt carrier back and actuating the gun. The bolt carrier is very cleanly machined. It's very high quality. No machining marks to be found anywhere on this thing. It's beautiful. You can see I just took this right out of the gun, and this is how I shoot it. There's not a lot of oil on there. There doesn't need to be. That's one of the great things about a piston upper, and we'll get into that a little later. Disassembling this, the cam pin will just come out. You don't need to turn it 90 degrees like on a DI gun. It's really hard to do this when I'm not actually looking at it. Oh, I'm an idiot. The firing pin has to come out first. We won't get into all that. Looks on the inside pretty much just like a DI bolt carrier group. Only difference is there's no gas rings, because there doesn't need to be, and there's a little spring on the bolt tail. So there's the bolt carrier. Going back to the actual upper here, and look at the dog there while I grab it. Pretty standard charging handle. It's billet aluminum. Nothing real fancy about it. It works. Now inside the upper, this is going to be a really tough shot to get. Let me put my pinky in here. Right in front of my pinky there, that little metal ring. That is where on a normal upper the gas tube would come through, where that expended gas would hit the gas key and actuate the gun. On this gun, that is a completely different little setup there. That is where the piston rod comes through. This is a dedicated upper built just for a piston system. This is not a conversion system slapped onto a DI gun. So there's no bushing to fall out or anything like that. The barrel is match grade stainless, 16 inches. The rail system here is a 9-inch Daniel Defense light rail, free floating. Gives that monolithic up with the upper. The muzzle device I have on here is not stock on the gun. This is a Titan muzzle brake made by S&J Customs. Hands down, best muzzle brake on the market. If you're a competitive shooter, it's a must-have. It keeps the gun so flat during recoil, you wouldn't even believe it. Overall, I've been extremely happy with this upper as a whole. It's really accurate. The barrel's, like I said, match green stainless, non-chrome lined, 1 1/8 twist. It does really well with the 77 grain Nosler custom competition bullets. I hand load those, and they're very, very accurate. Haven't had any sort of malfunctions. I can fire a few hundred rounds in a day, even rapidly. Take the bolt carrier out, and it is completely cool to the touch, and there is no dirt in the receiver. It is fantastic. It does get a little bit dirty up around here. You can see the gas plug has a little bit of dirt on it, if I can get that in focus. But it's really no big deal. It just keeps running. I throw this in some solvent every now and then, but I probably don't really need to. The finish on the upper and on the barrel, including inside the barrel and in the chamber, is a finish called melanite. Very, very tough finish. Doesn't scratch easily at all, and it looks really nice too. Nice deep black. Other than that, it's an AR upper. There's not much to say other than that. But the piston system does definitely have its advantages. The only disadvantage is there is a bit more of a recoil impulse with a piston than with a DI gun, just because of that rod pushing back rather than just gas blowing back. It's not enough to worry about though. Use a heavy or a H2 buffer, and it should feel just like a DI gun for you. Oh, and the gas system here is adjustable. Let me just put this gas plug back in here real quick before my battery dies on me. At the top position here, it's full gas, so that's for you know, if you're just normal shooting. Second position here is for suppressor use. That's going to cut back on the gas going into the system a little bit, because suppressors create more blowback. I also use it when I'm running hot ammo. It does cut back on recoil a little bit. Third position here is off. Turns it into a single shot AR. Not really sure why you'd ever want to do that, but the option is there. So that should about cover this thing, guys. I really like it. It's available as a complete upper from Spikes Tactical. When you buy it from them, they actually include a nice heavy tungsten buffer with the upper. Again, it won't come with this muzzle brake on it or these rail covers when you get it, but it comes with everything else: the bolt carrier, charging handle, everything. So I think they're about $1,300 new from Spikes. I traded another upper for this one. So that should about cover it. Got any questions, let me know. I have some experience pulling the trigger on this thing, and I think I am officially converted to piston. So have a good one. Stay safe. Keep shooting. Say bye to the dog there. Have a good one.